Hello, welcome to the weekly tax lien training. I'm Ferre. I'm here with Swenson, and this is the week of May 25th. We're going to start this training off addressing a lot of the new students that we have. There are a lot of new students that will be receiving this. If you're unfamiliar with tax liens and deeds, then this training will be perfect for you. If you're somewhat familiar with tax liens and deeds, this training will still work out. We are going to break this training up into two separate sessions, and we will be sending links to both of these sessions to you so that you can view them at your own discretion whenever it works out conveniently for you. We found that this is an easier way to do things, just considering the schedules that many of our students have and some of the different conflicting times that we've wanted to hold it. So if you have any questions, it's important as you watch these trainings that if you have any questions at all, that you either call the hotline number, which I'll give you, or you also can email questions to support@propertytaxlist.com. So again, email support is at support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, at propertytaxlist.com. Again, we welcome everyone that's new for the first time. Swenson and I are the creators of the Tax Lien program, and we are the individuals that provide the fulfillment for all tax lien students. So that's going to include all of your training, which we're going to make sure that by the end of you have a great understanding of how tax liens work, and we want to make sure that we have students that are out there purchasing tax liens and deeds and that are creating success stories.
You know, Shay, this is such an exciting time for tax lien and deed investing.
It really is. The time period right now, there's been so much that's taken place in the world over the last even 5 years with the internet and with computers. It has absolutely changed the face of tax lien investing, and we're going to talk about exactly how it's changed tax lien investing and what it means to you as a tax lien investor getting started today. The first question that we have here is, what if you could make returns of 15 to 30% or more annually on your investments? I'm sure that most of the people that are listening right now have considered that idea. Maybe you've heard about tax liens before. Maybe you've heard that you can earn a great return. But what if you could earn that 15 to 30% return on your retirement accounts or other funds, and you could do so on a consistent basis? What if it was a guaranteed investment? What if this investment was guaranteed to make that return and there was little to no risk? What if you could acquire properties for less than 20% of their market value? This is something that is realistic. This is something that happens if you received an email from us a couple days ago. It would include a newsletter, and in that newsletter, it's the propertytaxlist.com newsletter. That newsletter had a couple of properties listed at the top. I believe one was purchased for $11,000, one was purchased for about $16,000, and both of those properties had values that was north of $100,000. In fact, one of them was actually listed at the time for $113,000. If you look at what those properties were purchased for, you're looking at rates probably down around 10%, right around that area. So again, we're looking at property acquisition for just a fraction of what these properties are actually worth.
You know, in fact, Shay, we've been doing a lot of research this week on tax deed properties, and we found tax deeds in that price range, the price range of a used car between $10,000 to $20,000. From really both sides of the country and everywhere in between.
Absolutely. In fact, that is one of the things that we found is that it really doesn't matter where you live, especially with the internet and the way that the internet is changing tax lien and deed investing in general. There are opportunities out there everywhere, and it's just a matter of knowing how to find them, and that's what we want to teach you how to do. Now, what if you could make that 15 to 30% return, or what if you could acquire those properties from the comfort of your home? That's how we teach. That's what we're interested in, and that's the primary focus of our trainings, is how to invest in tax liens and deeds from the internet. It's a changed market. It's something that has changed so much recently, and the majority of the opportunities that are out there right now are available online. Steve and I got started with Tax Liens and Deeds about 7 years ago while Steve was working as a real estate agent. Steve and I are actually we are related. We're cousins, and so we've palled around since we were just young kids, and we continued to do so as we grew up and began working in separate careers. But 7 years ago it was our first real contact, or it was the first time that we'd ever heard about tax liens. At that point, we were interested in tax liens right from the get-go. We thought that that tax liens seemed like an amazing opportunity, and really we were starting off with probably less information than what most of you have. We didn't know a lot about it other than just the basis that properties could be acquired for just a fraction of what they were worth, which we were both interested in real estate investments at the time. We set out, we purchased a lot of different training programs, and we read materials and content from just about every resource in the world that we could find. But one of the things that we found pretty quickly was that the literature that we read, everything that we went through, really didn't teach us how to invest in tax liens or deeds. If anything, I think that a lot of it was almost more confusing than anything. It didn't seem to give us a real clear path as to how we would get started, nor did it give us step-by-step instructions on exactly what we should do. At that point, we decided that the only way we were going to learn was to do it, I guess, the hard way. We were going to go out there and learn by trial and error. We went out and began to attend auctions. We began to invest, and we made some mistakes. We learned from those mistakes, but overall, we really were able to grasp the concept of how tax liens and deeds worked. And as a result of it, we're still involved with tax liens and deeds today. 3 years after that time when we started, the idea of creating a tax lien program came to us when we both worked for different companies that offered what we felt were substandard training programs. In fact, they were some of the same training programs that we had read and gone through and had felt like were too confusing or just too vague about really what an individual needed to do to be successful as a tax lien investor. Over the last 7 years, there were a few things that we've learned about tax liens that we know for a fact. Number one, tax liens are one of the safest investments available on the market today. Number two, they're also one of the highest yielding investments on the market. And number three, they are also one of the least understood investment strategies out there. They have not really been accepted by the mainstream. You hear buzzwords about tax liens sometimes, but really, when it comes down to it, the majority of people that talk about them really don't understand quite how they work. This training has been brought to you by TaxLienInvestorsSecrets.com. Don't miss our next training, which is Tax Lien Training Series Lesson 2.